you doing? Welcome back. This is Deanna, and Deanna Simone to be exact. And I'm gonna show you guys how I went from this squat to this squat. So what kind of started me off on my fitness journey was first jumping rope, and then after that I had a goal of I wanted to lift heavier. So my brother introduced to me the volume frequency squat cycle, which is a 10-week program, and it's a squatting program for increasing both your leg size and strength. So the program is not going to be the same every single week. What I started out doing was finding my 1 rep maximum. I didn't have one in back squats or in front squats. I didn't know how to do a front squat at all. So I pretty much started from the bar, and then with back squats I kind of worked my way up until I couldn't lift properly, and that was my personal record for back squats. After finding my personal record for back squats, I was able to use that number for my program. So day one, I started off with 50% I had to lift, and I used 50% of my PR, and that's how I came up with my numbers when it came to everyday squatting. Every day wasn't the same. I noticed on Mondays and also Wednesdays, it was your heavier days, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays were lighter days. And the reason for that was that program wants you to have the appropriate amount of time in between sessions to recover. So every day you're not lifting heavy. Some days it's going to be rather light. And these are moments where you can really practice your form on those light days, really take your time, you know? So that's a rundown on how this program went for me. For week 1 of my frequency volume squat cycle last year, it was pretty tough for me just because I didn't know how to properly do a back squat or a front squat. I didn't know how to do a back squat until that first 2 weeks. It was pretty tough for me. I actually was using my personal record for my back squats the first day, and I noticed the weight was just too much for me, and I didn't have the proper form when doing back squats. And then secondly, I was overextending my hips, and I didn't notice that until midway through the program when I started feeling some pain in my hips. And I was telling my brother, who's a personal trainer, and he was like, you are overextending your hips, and that's probably why you're feeling some irritation in your hip. So that was something I definitely had to work on. And then also front squats, I didn't know how to do a front squat at all, so I pretty much started from scratch. I decided with front squats that I would go in and try the bar first. The form was so bad, I didn't realize it. And then I went and added weight, and it was over for me. I could barely lift the bar up. I was curling my back. My elbows had dropped severely when really they should be parallel to the floor when you're doing a front squat. So these are all things I was learning through the first time of doing a squat cycle. Pretty much back squats were wrong and front squats were wrong. At this time I felt like, maybe I shouldn't do this program. So I was trying to quit on your girl. But, it just got a little bit overwhelming because I didn't know how to do it. But I took a step back. I decided to look somewhere online. After Dwayne gave me the advice that you shouldn't be overextending your back, I kind of was like, let's start from square one and learn how to properly do a back squat and front squat. So I was watching a lot of videos by Squat University. They have great videos on how to back squat and also front squat, and tips on how to open up your hips. And this is where I learned more about mobility, So my warm-up started to change. Before, I think I was just doing regular stretching. I didn't know too much about dynamic stretching. And then toward the middle of this program, I started doing more dynamic stretching and also doing some warm-ups because I wasn't really warming up either. I'm really starting from scratch with this program. But you can definitely tell the difference from when I first began my squat cycle to the end of this cycle, my first cycle. I had a little bit more weight. I think I cleared 95 pounds in the back squat, and then the front squat, I think I only got 45 pounds. I don't remember. It was a while ago. I don't think my form and stuff was the best at that time, but I've definitely improved from how I was squatting in the beginning with the overextending of the hips. Also, if you peep, I wasn't even wearing the right shoes. It was pretty bad. All right, so then during the second squat cycle, I decided to start off the squat cycle working out at my brother's gym, and you know, I felt a little bit more confident. I've gone through the first squat cycle. I was pretty excited. I even started this program like 3 months after the first program, and honestly I feel like you should only do this program once a year, but I was pretty excited about it. I wanted to keep squatting, and now I've learned some techniques. I know not to overextend my hips. My sneaker choice still didn't change, but I learned a few things. So I kind of wanted to get into this program more. At this point I really didn't have no depth in my squat, but I feel like my form was looking a lot better. And you don't have to have depth in every squat. It's just that was my preference when deciding to do the frequency volume squat cycle. I think my form looked a lot better. You can kind of view some of this footage and see that like it gradually got different than my first squat cycle. I do seem a lot more confident in these videos, and the squat just looks so much better. Somewhere in the middle of this second squat cycle, I started to pay more attention to my depth, and I think that's where it kind of connected for me. When you take a look at my front squats, I really had great depth in that final maxing out of the squat. Looked pretty beautiful. I wasn't curling my back like I did in the first squat cycle. My legs were a nice like shoulder width apart, a little bit over I would say, and everyone has their own preference. My back squat looked pretty good. I wasn't overextending my hips. I felt really confident in this time, and then all the other workouts that I did around it. Now for the first squat cycle, I didn't really have a routine that I created that I felt confident in, a program that was based around my squat cycle. Where the second squat cycle, I had some help from Dwayne, where I was able to build a program that really helped me during my squat cycle. So I did deadlifts right after my front squats and back squats. I did some hamstring work, so I did gliding slides, and I also did glute bridges. And I think just having a simple routine on those leg days really helped with my squat cycle. And I also had less leg days, so I only worked out legs twice a week, and then the other 3 days I did upper body. So that gave you enough time to recover in between, where the first cycle I don't think I was giving myself enough time to rest, and I was also squatting 6 days a week, and I was doing more upper body days. All right, so now we're going to get into our last frequency volume squat cycle, the one that just previously passed. I feel really good about this squat cycle because leaving off on my second squat cycle, my back squat maximum was 185 pounds, and then in front squats it was 135 pounds. So my goal was I wanted to reach 215 in back squats this time around, and then also in front squats I wanted to reach, I don't even think I had a goal number, maybe it was like 150, but I definitely wanted to have more than 135, you know. So going into this program, I think now I have more experience. I'm actually studying for the PT, so I have even more experience on how I want to work around this squat cycle. I kept the same program that I had in the previous squat cycle. The only thing that changed was instead of doing deadlifts, I decided to do RDLs. And the reason for RDLs was I haven't done RDLs in a while, so I felt like that would complement the squats more. And then also I just wanted to practice them, and I think this gave me a nice change and a chance to practice RDLs. And then I also kept the glute bridges and then also the gliding slides. Having those specific workouts really helped me to grow my glutes and also hamstrings, which were essential for me when trying to squat heavy. So my brother introduced me to the gliding disc or gliding slides, where at first I was doing abductions in the beginning of my program, and like the first session of my squat cycles, if you would go back and watch that, I was doing those, but he was like, nah, we're going to scratch that. Let's do some gliding disc. And they're really good and beneficial for growing those hamstrings, glutes, and also working that core. So that was really going to help me to build a strong squat. So the gliding discs engage your core muscles throughout the full range of movement. And it also gets you into like balancing, able to balance during the movement and helping to create a strong core. And I definitely saw a difference, especially when I was going to do a squat. I felt like my core was very strong, my back was strong, and I was easily able to get through the full movement, where I was able to even, go deeper in my squat. And also, like I said before, those lighter session days where I would do like 2 sets of 3, those really helped me focus on my technique. Also getting that ass to the grass. I was able to really engage myself, slow the movement down. Whereas if I were to do that on a heavy day, I feel like it would just be a lot of work. So this program was really set up nicely. So we also have to think of the components of like what's going to make a great session. So sleep, I had to get enough sleep, especially when I'm trying to lift heavy. You need to preserve that energy. So I was making sure I was getting 8 hours of sleep. Also eating my food, eating my protein, make sure I'm hitting my 160 grams of protein. And also I was gaining a little weight. I think I gained like 5 pounds during this time. And honestly, without it, I don't think I would have been able to really perform a strong squat. So that weight kind of helped me during that time. And it's winter, so we bulking a little bit, So with all this in mind, I was able to hit back squats. My new 1 rep maximum is 205 pounds. I'm so excited. And then also in front squats, which was very much a doozy for me. I did not know what my new record was going to be for them. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be a big jump, but it was, guys. I ended off at 135 pounds in front squats, but I cleared 165, which is like a major accomplishment for your girl. In the beginning, y'all saw what that squat looked like. So I thank you for watching. Like this video for some more encouragement. Bye. But we